All right, top 10 best movies of 2024. Got my list right here. Honorable mentions, reading off the list. Driveway Dolls, very funny movie. If you want to see the girl from The Substance in a very funny movie where she's masturbating furiously and it's hilarious, Driveway Dolls. The First Omen, great acting. Great acting and justifies its existence very well. Immaculate was a very good movie. It goes almost in tandem with The First Omen. Oddity, scary movie. Phenomenal opening in Oddity. Phenomenal opening. Scariest wood guy I've ever seen. Only wood guy I've ever seen. Smile 2, great time. Had a blast watching that movie. Had some issues with it. Did a review for it. But still a good time. Heretic, very interesting movie. I love the build-up more than I like the payoff. But overall, very interesting movie. Great dialogue. Great Monopoly thing that they talk about. And The Dark and the Wicked, good, scary movie that everyone should see. Very dark, horrifying, terrible ending. Terrible not in a bad way. Terrible as in, like, I can't believe I watched that. That was terrible. All right, number 10. I saw the TVGLOW. I will never watch this again. I had to put this on the list, though, because even though this wasn't a fun movie to watch, it was a profound movie to watch. This movie made me think about my own life. It made me really sad. It was very effective. I know it's an allegory for, like, transgenderism, but it works on so many levels. If you didn't even know that, it works on so many levels. Brilliantly directed movie. Like, I watched this movie, I'm like, you nailed everything you needed to nail. By the time it was over, I felt like I was moved by the film, and I never wanted to see it again because it made me so sad. It had a weird time jump that made no sense, and I don't even like Justice Smith, so this is the one movie I really liked him in. But, yeah, that's a very effective movie. That was a very effective movie. If you want a movie that makes you contemplate life, watch I Saw the TV-GLOW. Not fun like I thought it was going to be. I thought with a title like that, it was going to be a fun movie. I thought it was going to be a comedy. No. Where's my list at? Number 9. Alright, glitch. Number 9. Where am I at? Strange Darling. Great movie because it has a brilliant setup. You have no idea where it's ever going to go. I'm like, it sets you up one way, entirely paints a picture, completely plot twist to where the girl herself is a serial killer was a brilliant thing. Kyle Garner only makes good movies. Willa Fitzgerald, I remember watching her on Scream back in the day. I talked to Beck Santa Claus, Amadeus Serafini at a con from Scream TV show. But really a great surprising movie. The ending went on too long, but it was a very surprising film. Like throughout the movie, it felt like an M. Night Shyamalan movie in his prime. But big fan of that movie. And everyone should see it. And it has a great name and fantastic poster. So, Strange Darling. And I saw it on a good day too. I went to the museum and then I saw Strange Darling after I had a great day that day. Number 8. Long Legs. Long Legs is like a not quite as good 7, not quite as good Silence of the Lambs, but still good. Like it's up there like top 3. It's like Silence of the Lambs, 7, Long Legs are in this great trilogy of movies you should see if you want to be an FBI agent and they tell you to fuck off because this is what's going to happen to you. You're going to have traumatized for life. You're fighting Satan, you're fighting religious serial killers, or you're talking to one serial killer to help you catch another serial killer and you're still going to get eaten or skinned alive. So don't be an FBI agent. But Osgood Perkins, he made very interesting movies in the past. Black Coat's Daughter, brilliant little dark movie. Gretel and Hansel, very good cinematography, phenomenal score. Absolutely love it. And this movie, he's very good. He's very good at shooting things. He's very good at having music. He's very good at the technical aspect of it. He gets good performances out of the movie. It's a unique movie about the devil. And I was like, that was good. Saw it twice. Like 2 days back to back or something like that. But, and Nicolas Cage is the craziest actor ever. Very entertaining. Kind of annoying in this movie, but, you know, it works. Number 7, The Substance. Gordon Fargiot. She made a movie called Revenge, which I think is a brilliant movie. It is fantastic cinematography, very stylish, and she clearly has some good eyes. This movie is balls to the wall. Felt like it would have came out in the 80s. It felt like a Paul Verhoeven film, like one of those wild, crazy. It kind of feels like, it's kind of like, who's that guy? Oh my God, the guy who makes all the gory movies. He made Videodrome. Feels like that guy. That guy mixed with Paul Verhoeven. It feels like a combination of those two directors. But great performances. Margaret Qualley is on another level. Demi Moore is on another level. A lot of nudity. A lot of very funny nudity. And the most ridiculous third act of all time that is like, I was like, yes! Go crazy. Keep getting crazier. Every second, I'm like, get crazier, crazier. It reminded me of a movie called Society. I want you to see Society. Society is like a ass backwards movie, as by this ass backward picture. But ridiculous ending. Absolutely loved how absurd it is. It makes his point, but it makes it blatantly, but it's done deliberately. Usually, nuance is better, to have a subtle way to get in there because it makes you think more. The blatancy of this movie is very funny and very effective. And the shots are, obviously inspired by other films. Great stuff. And I wonder what would happen if this was done in real life. I'm assuming most people would fail if they were given the substance. So, number 6 in my top 10 of 2024, Nosferatu. I thought this would be higher up until I realized I saw a lot of good movies this year. Nosferatu, Robert Eggers doesn't miss. All his movies are great. He's making masterpieces. I'm like, this movie is well acted for the most part. I don't like Nicholas Hoult and I don't like Aaron Taylor Johnson. But Lily Rose Depp, fantastic performance. I mean, her, the girl from The First Omen, and Sydney Sweeney from Immaculate, Demi Moore, and Margaret Qualley I just talked about. Like, women were on a roll this year. They're on a roll this year. And Nosferatu, I mean, great music. Effective technically in every way. Fantastic cinematography and sets and costumes. Great, crazy voice by Bill Skarsgård. Like, he just vanishes in the roles. This movie was effective in every level, and it was very spooky. I wasn't very scared by it, but I very much loved what they did because it felt like it brought old vampires back. Because I'm like, we have too many. They've gone through every genre. We got the romance vampires, the action vampires, the comedy vampires. I'm like, let's get the horror vampires back. I'm like, this is a horror vampire. He eats kids at one point. He kills kids. People in my audience freaked out when that happened. Some people screamed, some people laughed at how crazy that was. People were laughing at the sex scene. There's a funny sex scene in this movie where she's like possessed and going crazy, and he starts like banging her out of nowhere. Wild movie. Willem Dafoe's having a blast. Put him in every movie. I love listening to Robert Eggers in interviews too. He doesn't sound or look like I thought he would, but yeah, keep doing what you're doing. I want you to do everything. Make a Batman movie. Take it from Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves is taking too damn long. You take the goddamn Batman. You can make a brilliant Batman movie. The Witch is his all-time best stuff. Kind of like Damien Chazelle. Like Damien Chazelle made his, magnum opus, the first one, and he hasn't made as great a movie since. But yeah, number 5. I thought this movie technically came out like 2022, and then it started rolling on 2023, and then 2024 it officially went wide release to a degree. Hundreds of Beavers, fun movie, had a blast. It is a unique film. It is a movie you're never going to see anything like it because it is a Looney Tunes ass black and white movie with a great lead performance. And this guy should be nominated for acting just because it's physical comedy and just because there's no words being vocalized. He himself put on a performance that not many could. And he's a one-man army. It's him versus hundreds of beavers. And it's a very creative movie. It keeps getting more and more creative as it goes on. And it is fun for the whole family. Like, anybody could watch this. You could be a kid, you could be an adult, and you could appreciate it on different levels. It's silly. It's comedic. It goes on a little bit too long, but as it goes on, I was always impressed by what they kept coming up with. And there's a scene in the movie where he's just fist fighting them. He's just straight up, fuck it, I'm gonna fist fight you motherfuckers. Let's go. Peter would hate this movie. There people obviously in beaver outfits, which is really funny. And that fight scene is the scene of the year. Is that fight scene. Scene of the whole year is that fight scene. So, yeah. Hundreds of Beavers. Big fan of it. Great name, too. Not enough people saw it. What do we got next? Number 4. Furiosa. Alright. Number 4. Furiosa. Love me some Anya Taylor-Joy. I think the most beautiful actress of all time. This movie, George Miller, he should have dropped this way sooner. He's like Matt Reeves at this point. Like, the sequels need to come out sooner because they become way less, effective, and it flopped. And I'm like, that's because he put it 10 years later. But anyways, great cinematography. He's a master in every level of the technical parts. The editing is great. Score is great. I loved all the characters. I love Jack. I love Furiosa herself. It makes perfect sense to tie into Mad Max Fury Road, which I think is my favorite movie of all time. I don't love Charlize Theron as an actress or as a person, but I love this tie-in. They work perfectly together. This movie had some great kick-ass action. Not as much action as Fury Road, but doesn't need as much action. This needs to be a good story. It was a good story. Chris Hemsworth gives a great, silly, ridiculous, over-the-top performance as whatever the hell his name, Dementis. I love the gas town, and you get that further explained. It very much opens the world, that the world is massive Australia, limited to these 3 center locations: the Bullet Farm, the Cathedral, and Gastown. And they all rely on each other, but they're all run by psychopathic lunatics. That it's very hard to keep these things working together. And it's a great war. And the third movie that George Miller should make, that he kind of alluded to, was the 30-Day War. I think that's what he called it. He should make that movie. That's a movie. And then all these movies tied together as a great trilogy of this event. So, yeah, Fury Road. Watched it 2 or 3 times. Cinematography is so good. It's beautiful, just visual eye porn to sit back and watch, and very enjoyable. I can't believe it took 8 months to film that one truck sequence. 8 months. Was it really 8 months difficult? Like, god damn, I don't know why. I feel like A24 directors could do the same shit in like weeks as like big studio people can do in months. So, where are we at? Number 3. This is a fight for number 2 or number 3. Challengers. Luca Guadagnino's made a lot of movies. I don't like his Suspiria. Never saw Call Me By Your Name. I'll see you one day. Hated Bones and All. Thought that movie was boring as hell. So I'm not a guy who likes his movies, but then he made Challengers. I'm like, this movie was directed by the most energetic person alive. I'm like, this guy had some energy, and I'm like, where the hell was this energy in Bones and All? Because he took what is a boring narrative about 2 like bisexual tennis players who love this girl and their careers go in different directions, and he's like, I'm gonna direct this like as a goddamn Top Gun Maverick. It is so energetically directed that it was very entertaining, nonstop throughout the entire movie. They're having like arguments while storms happening and things flying around. It's ridiculous and melodramatic, but in the funnest way. There's so many. The tennis sequences are great. The last tennis battle, I mean, it has shots that are coming out from underneath the floor. It is following the ball. The camera becomes the ball. It is so good, and it has probably moment of the year for me. Probably the single my favorite moment of the year. He has a moment in the movie where he says, if I put the tennis ball in this little triangular pocket of the tennis racket, it means I slept with Zendaya. At the last thing after him and the other guy haven't seen each other for years, just him doing that, I was like, oh shit. I love that moment. That moment to me stood out more than any moment I've seen in any movie this year. That was the moment of the year for me, was that little thing. I was like, oh man, I can't believe I'm invested in this drama. That's not me. That's not me. I don't care for romance drama. Loved it. One of the best endings too. One of the best endings of any movie. Like by the time it was over, like a good ending could sink or an ending could sink or swim your movie. This movie it swims. And I was like, what the hell was that movie? Never wanted to see the movie. Saw that after the gym one day, bored, and I was like, nah, I'll watch this movie. And by the end of it, I was like, wow. So, Challengers. Number 2. Movie that's not quite as good as Challengers, but it is. I just had so much fun. I saw it 3 times in theaters. Number 2. Abigail. Abigail is not a movie that a lot of people are going to have on a list. I feel like a lot of people didn't even see it. It's a little movie about a ballerina vampire girl. She gets babysat by a bunch of criminals who are trying to extort her evil father, who apparently has this incredibly dangerous reputation. And it's just a fun movie. I think her name is Ashley Ware. Fantastic. The girl from Scream, whatever the hell her name is, gave a decent performance because I never liked her in anything else. Fucking guy from The Guest, Dan Stevens. Chef's kiss and everything he does. He is so good. Having a blast this movie. He played a great character. The whole cast was a very fun, very personality-filled cast of people. And there's also Angus, his name is Angus Clow, Euphoria guy. His last movie. And he played himself. But it was a good time. Had a blast. The only person I didn't like was Paranormal Activity 4 girl. He's the only person that felt like she was playing the role sarcastically. Either way, whole movie, great characters, fun time. It is probably one of the most fun movies of the year. I wish more people saw it. I don't see it in anybody's list for anything. And I couldn't help but watch it over and over again. I saw it 3 or 4 times. I love this movie. I was like, this is a fun movie. I mean, the ending could have been a little different. I would have preferred, maybe I would have changed things around there. But even Giancarlo Esposito's in this movie, and he's a blast. Everything in this movie is just pure, like, this is when I want to turn my brain off, watch some shit that's going to make me smile. And that's exactly what Abigail is. And when I saw the poster, I saw trailers, I thought nothing of it. It looked uninteresting. The poster's kind of cool. It feels like it's read past what you're seeing. Girl with kind of like a bloodstained dress, something like that. But yeah, I couldn't help but enjoy this movie. I smiled through and through, and I was like, I could easily rewatch this movie. This is the most rewatchable movie of the year to me. Most rewatchable movie of the year is Abigail. So yeah, definitely a movie I'm going to see again and again because good time. In the words of great Jeremy Johns, good time, no alcohol required. So yeah, and my number one, I was dying for this movie to get beaten. I wanted to get beaten because I saw it so early on. Dune 2. I saw this movie in a planetarium at the museum. Posted up on the wall, all big and curved. And when I saw it again, and it was so loud in there, it was blowing out my eardrums. But when I saw it again, I was like, I don't think anything's going to beat this. And I was hoping. So many times I was hoping. I'm like, something beat this. I went to Nosferatu to beat it. I was like, something beat this. Be my favorite movie of the year. Because it's not that I have a problem with being my favorite movie of the year, but when you see a movie in the very beginning, you're like, oh, it's going to make it to the end. You don't want it to be the standard. I'm like, I want to know that something better is coming always. Anyways, great movie. Denis Villeneuve makes masterpieces. Cinematography, the outfits, the whole setup, the sound design, incredible on every level. Dude is 5 out of 5 on every single technical aspect of the movie. Dune 1, I don't like. I think it's kind of boring. I think the end of it's good, but it's a boring movie to me. Dune 2, though, is on another level. It is entertaining through and through. It is very epic, grandiose. It feels like a movie that's an instant classic. A movie that's going to be talked about for generations. People can go back and watch Dune 2. Because you watch the 80s Dune, that movie's silly. You watch this Dune, I'm like, this is like... If I would have shown David Lynch this Dune, he probably would have had a heart attack. Actually, he probably would hate it because it's not weird enough. But Tim Sham puts on a great performance when he does his epic rant about being the Messiah to the crowd of people in the South. Batista's fun. I loved Austin Butler's fade. His fade is way better than whatever the hell the other guy was. Was that David Bowie? I can't even remember. I can't even remember. But that fade and this fade, two totally different levels of fade. That epic planet that's all black and white because the sun desaturates color. Fantastic idea. Brilliant idea. I wonder if that's in the book. Everything about this movie, as I watched it, I was like, I'm just like with Blade Runner 2049. When I watched Blade Runner 2049, I was blown away that this movie can be this good. It's like, I'm like, this is true classics before your eyes, where you know that this is going to be lasting decades, or decades from now, people are going to talk about this. This is another movie I watched, and I was like, people are going to talk about this for decades. Because it feels like a Lawrence of Arabia, but in space. Some grand epic that 50 years later, someone's showing in a film school. That's what this movie's going to be. So, on every level, it is perfect. It is perfect on every level. So, very much love this movie. I don't see anything topping it for a while. I've seen everything. The last one I got to watch for 2024, and I was halfway through it, I was like, this is not going to make the list, is A Boy Kills World. Boy Killed the World is entertaining to a degree. He's talking with an action man voice in his head. It's Bill Skarsgård, who's great and everything. But I was like, this is not going to make the top 10. But yeah, Dune 2. It's going to be in a lot of people's top 10s for sure. It's going to be in most people's top 10. And it's probably going to be a lot of people's number 1. And it's too damn good. Too damn good Dune. He said he's going to try to make Dune Messiah better than Dune 2. It's one of those things I can't even picture how you do that. But I'm sure a lot of people are like, how do you make a better Blade Runner? I think Blade Runner 2049. I think it's a 5 times good as Blade Runner. Blade Runner is good, but I'm like, 2049 is untouchable. So, yeah. Those are my top 10 of 2024. I love making top 10 lists. I need to make more top 10 lists of various kinds. I want this channel to succeed next year. Next year, I want this channel to blow up. I want to look back at this and be like, this is when I was small and nothing, and then now I'm big and, popular on YouTube to a degree. I want to be able to make money off YouTube and just do this. Do this and fucking DoorDash. And I want that to be my career. That way I feel free. I'm like, I'm doing YouTube and DoorDash, which is what I'm doing right now. So I'm doing both those things right now. But I'm like, I'm not making money off this. I want to make money off this. So, yeah. Top 10, 2024. Good and bad year for movies. Mediocre year. There's a lot of great stuff. A lot of terrible stuff. 2025 has a lot of good sequels coming out. Once upon a time, the Batman 2 was going to come out in 2025. That would have been my most anticipated. But, yeah. What are your top 10 lists? Write them in the comment section down below. Let me know. Subscribe to a motherfucker. And, yeah, tell me what you agree with and disagree with me. I could take criticism fine. I would love to know what your thoughts on any of the movies I listed are, and if you agree or disagree. Goodbye. And thank you. If you're watching this, thank you for watching.